All right, this is episode 3 of the official Shipmates Sports podcast. I'm Mike. Alongside me here is Joey. And
Anchors away, buddy.
You got it, man. Got a few things to talk about today. Got the Hall of Fame game tomorrow.
Start of the season, buddy. Football's here, pal.
That's it, man. Cowboys and Steelers. And we're going to kind of dig into that, talk a little previous Hall of Fame inductees, talk about the,
some storylines going on.
Storylines there and some training camp storylines. We'll try and keep this one a little bit shorter than usual. We went a little bit long last time. So, yeah, man, let's get right into it.
Let me ask you real quick, Mikey. Preseason football, do you enjoy watching those games?
I do to a certain extent, right?
Is it because you've just been you've had no fill of football and this is what you're getting now, or?
Well, it's a little bit of that. It's mostly that. Yeah. And then you have that aspect of, okay, I haven't heard of, this guy, Dave Krasinski out of like Utah State or whatever. And he's like the backup of the backup linebacker, and he's making a couple plays, and
that's what I love, man. I love watching the fourth quarter, and you might find somebody that sneaks through the cracks that you didn't even hear of, that was an undrafted guy. A lot of people don't enjoy preseason football. I love it. I mean, part of it is like I haven't had it in so long that it's getting you filled, but I just enjoy it, man. I love seeing the people that, you're not sure, the borderline guys, the people that are going to be on your practice squad and whatnot.
Yeah, man. And I mean, like, a lot of people don't like preseason football because the games don't matter. They have zero bearing on the season.
They're terrified of seeing their favorite players get hurt.
Exactly. Right. You remember that one year, I think like Mike Vick went down with a broken leg or something. And the whole Falcons fan base, what the hell?
Yeah, it's all too common that somebody goes down, and it's really unfortunate because, you lose somebody in a meaningless game. It does kind of stink, but it is nice just to have that fill. I mean, tomorrow night, as well as I do, more than likely nobody's going to dress. That's worth a mention. But just to be able to turn on the TV and watch 4 quarters of football, regardless of who's playing, I'm excited for it, Mike.
Yeah, so am I. I mean, we're not going to see Big Ben or Dak, Zeke.
Oh, yeah, for sure you're not going to see Dak.
Game. No, and that's okay. But, I mean, we're going to have NFL football. And, these guys are the second and third string guys, stuff like that. A lot of undrafted free agents out there.
I mean, it's really important for the Cowboys right now. I mean, I know we're going to get into the Dak Prescott situation, but that's an important role. Whoever's behind Dak, I mean, we're not sure. I mean, right now it's Garrett Gilbert is the second on their depth chart. I can't say that I know much about him, but
exactly right. I mean, who is Garrett Gilbert, right? Like, I mean, he's there for a reason, and all these backups are there for a reason. But we see it every year. We're seeing it right now, right? Carson Wentz goes down in Indy. Who's the backup? I don't know.
Like, exactly, that's actually what we wanted to lead off with, Mike. Is that situation in Indianapolis, and it is an interesting one. They're saying 5 to 12 weeks for Carson Wentz. They just lost a lineman. So
what kind of timeline is that? Hey, it's 5 to 12.
Yeah, 5 to 12 is right.
Yeah, like is that when the cable guy is going to show up? It's 5 to 12. It will be there. Like, okay, so.
And if it's 5 to 12 for the cable guy, he won't be there till 3 anyway. So
exactly right. So, but yeah, 5 to 12, and they also lost somebody else, right?
They lost line. Yeah, they lost a lineman. So the talk that I have been hearing now is what direction will the Colts go? There's been names thrown out there. I was kind of curious what your thoughts on them were. Some of the names that I've heard, from the Raiders, Marcus Mariota, Nick Foles, Jimmy Garoppolo, Gardner Minshew, Jacoby Brissett. Any of those names moving the needle for you?
So a couple of those are, right? Like Nick Foles. And the reason for that is because of Frank Reich.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, a relationship there when they were in Philly. Mm-hmm. If I'm, Phillip Rivers, Jimmy Garoppolo, maybe. I mean, San Francisco, they can. I wouldn't move Jimmy G, right? I wouldn't just. If I'm San Francisco, I mean, you're a Jimmy G injury away from being in the playoffs last year, all that
Yeah.
stuff, from being very competitive every year. And, you got your rookie there, Trey Lance, waiting in the wings,
Yep.
stuff like that, waiting for his turn and everything. So San Francisco is actually like, yeah, we need a backup quarterback, and they may have a viable option, albeit he's a rookie.
Do you see Indianapolis making any sort of desperate trade offer though? For a guy like you mentioned Jimmy G, because I mean, out of the names I threw out there, Mariota, Foles, Garoppolo, Minshew, Brissett, I think Garoppolo is probably the best of that bunch. I mean, there's some bias there. I was a big fan while he was here in New England. I still think the guy's a winner. Could you see Indianapolis making a desperate trade offer where the timetable still has Wentz possibly coming back this year?
Well, I mean, he'll be back this year. If it's 5 to 12 week, it's 3 months. We're still going to be in the mix of NFL season.
Yeah.
The roster is, good enough to get them a few wins,
But that's a really good team, Mikey. I mean, if you really downgrade a quarterback, I mean, they could take a significant hit. I mean, if they get some decent quarterback play, that's a solid football team.
Right. And I mean, you don't need, right, with that team, you don't have to have Jimmy G on there. You don't have to have, Carson Wentz 100% to win, right? We saw last year with Phillip Rivers. They probably could have had, a lesser quarterback, one of those guys that's in the top 15, top 20, and still won games.
Yeah.
And they could do that still with the way that this roster is still put together, with the coaching staff that they have in place. Their early schedule is brutal. It is the definition. It is like their first 4 games. It's like they could easily be going like 0-4, something like that, 1-3, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, you're talking home for the Seahawks, home for the Rams, at the Titans, at the Dolphins, at the Ravens, out the shoot. Wow.
Right. So they might be 1-3. Right. I give them the Dolphins maybe, but the Dolphins aren't
Dolphins are not a pushover at all.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, you look at a team like Washington, right? Doesn't have a quarterback. I mean, they got Fitzpatrick over there, but they don't have the Tom Brady back there, they don't have the elite quarterback back there, right? Top 10, top 15 quarterback. But they have a solid team. Talk about a playoff team last year, man.
Yeah.
But they don't, I mean, in my opinion, when I think about them, like, yeah, you could have gone and did what LA did and gone and got Matt Stafford, right?
Yeah.
But they didn't want to, mortgage the future and all that. And that's totally fine. That's understandable. And we talked about that, not mortgaging the future and everything.
But now, all right, so if you don't think that because the trade that San Francisco wanted for Garoppolo during the offseason, I believe they were saying that at least a second. So I don't think that they give up that in this situation. I know somebody like Nick Foles or Minshew could probably be had for like a 6th or a 7th. If they go the Foles route, does that possibly do anything negative to Carson Wentz that Nick Foles again is taking your job?
Maybe. I think Carson Wentz is, mature enough to be like, I'm hurt and they need a quarterback. That's what they had to do. If Carson Wentz is healthy and Nick Foles is healthy, I mean, you go with Carson Wentz. So I think that would just be a move. You can't really consider all that, right? Because
I mean, Reich, Nick Foles is the known commodity for Frank Reich.
That's what I'm saying. Right now, he's not doing anything in Chicago over there, right? No. Nick Foles he might not even I mean, you're talking about Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. Nobody's talking Nick Foles in Chicago.
No.
And so if I'm Indy, I'm like, dude, come over here. You've got familiarity with the head coach. They can plug him in and they get him a few weeks to get ready and go out there week 1. Now, do they win week 1? Probably not, but they're competitive. It's probably close, right? And I don't think.
I mean, if they're gonna strike, they need to strike soon, though. I mean, you gotta imagine that if they're gonna make a move, it's got to be soon. I mean, you got training camp is started. Preseason games start this week. If you want a starting quarterback, you got to bring him in soon.
Yeah, you don't really. And that's why you go after Nick Foles, because he knows what Frank Reich wants to do.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
don't
Jacob
go
Eason,
after.
we mentioned him last time. Jacob Eason is second on their depth chart, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's no confidence there yet anyway.
Well, he's a rookie, right?
Second year, I believe.
Second year.
Yeah, maybe he's a rookie. I'm not positive.
Well, either way, Nick Foles would be the better option in Indy. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, I wouldn't worry if I'm the front office. I'm not worried about the effect that this has on Carson Wentz. Look, Carson, we need you to be healthy and on the field.
Yep.
And we need you to just look. And I made my spiel about mental health and everything like
that
episode and whatnot. And I mean, I don't think, would this be anxiety inducing for him? Would this be, a stressor? Would this be a trigger for him to be distracted? Would this be a distraction? It's already kind of a distraction, just the fact that we're talking about it. Can he deal with that? He dealt with it before, right? In Philly, I mean, albeit he was hurt and they went on to,
win the Super Bowl,
win the championship, win the Super Bowl and everything. But I think that, these two guys, Foles and Wentz would be, mature enough to kind of.
Do you think that's the move, though? You think that's the most logical move is Nick Foles?
I think the most logical move is move forward with your dude Eason there.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think don't bring in anybody on the outside, man. You got people here right now in camp, just next man up, and then Foles or not Foles, but Wentz can take his time to heal, come back. Who knows, in 3 months, maybe a month and a half, maybe in 3 months. I mean, 5 to 12 weeks, and then you don't. Right. I mean, you're probably good enough to at that point, like play some damage control first 4 weeks of the year. Right. Maybe you're 1-3.
That's tough to throw a first year quarterback into. I mean, that's a hell of a schedule to throw somebody new into.
Yeah, you got to play, man. The defense is solid. The offensive line minus who was it Quentin Nelson that got hurt? I think in Indy, minus him. But I mean, the running back's good. The wide receiver, you're putting a great roster around a subpar quarterback, right? One of those top 15, top 20 quarterbacks. You can still win games like that. That defense, like that offensive line, like that, there's still talent there that can keep you in games, and all that the rookie has to do. I don't want to keep calling him rookie, but all that the young quarterback has to do is not lose.
Well, I mean,
he just has to manage the game.
But that leads to now the timing of the new news that Philip Rivers is now saying that I don't know what the exact quote is, but it's that he's not ruling out a return. I'm curious if maybe Indianapolis has reached out to him. But Rivers is basically saying that I'm not done, and that's a good option right there. I mean, I love Philip Rivers. I think he's an awesome quarterback. I thought he did very well with them last year.
He did. I was surprised he left.
Yeah, I was surprised he hung it up, but I mean, it sounds like he's not ruling it out. I mean, what I'm reading right here is it's a late season return is what he's talking about. But if he's got the itch and Indianapolis has the opening, I mean, that's the natural fit. I mean, if he's going to say that he wants to play, I get Philip Rivers in there and I get him in there now. You're opening up the door to a quarterback controversy when Wentz is back, because you did sign Wentz to be your starting quarterback, but you get Rivers in the door now, and you get that ball rolling, because this team is a legit threat in the AFC.
They were last year too.
Yep. Yeah.
So, but I mean, if Philip Rivers is, staying in shape, still working out, still throwing the ball and everything like that, and go get him.
Yeah, right. I mean, if he wants to come back and the money's right, I say do it.
I definitely change what I say, that if Philip Rivers is willing to, you got to go do it now, right? The season is starting.
That's right. Yeah, that's what I think. I mean, if you're going to make any sort of moves, now is the time. I mean, your roster is set. I mean, you gotta get this thing rolling now.
What do you pay Phillip Rivers? What's the contract? It's a 1-year deal, right? And
I mean, it would have to be similar to what he made last year. I don't know what the numbers were, but I mean, I think if you're bringing him in, it's going to have to be an incentive contract. Last year was $25 million is what he made. It was a 1-year guaranteed. I'm assuming the numbers would be somewhere near that. I don't know if it would have to have incentives in there.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, now you're talking that you're going to have 2 high-priced quarterbacks on your roster.
Well, yeah, you bring in, and I mean, nothing's going to guarantee that Wentz doesn't have another injury during the year. He comes back from this foot injury. I mean, this move to get Carson Wentz, right? You have to consider, in his case, injury history.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. And so when they went and got him, there was no, right. Are we not drafting a quarterback to back him up? Are we not getting a bigger veteran presence to back him up in case he goes down? He's gone down before. Yeah. I mean, Philly was pretty lucky. They had Frank Reich and Nick Foles there. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's kind of fortuitous that they had that. That combination works really well. So, I mean, I think, you know, if Phillip Rivers isn't in the mix, I say you just go ahead with Eason.
Yeah.
Don't bring. I mean, we don't know.
I haven't read much on what they've had out of him and what the reviews are so far in camp. I mean, obviously, if he's the number 2 on the depth chart behind Wentz, then he's running with the ones right now. So if they're going to make a move, like we said, it's got to be soon.
Yeah, if you can, if you go get if Phillip Rivers is willing to go through the grind of a season to get, you know, to come in, and he doesn't really have to learn the offense. He knows the offense. He's familiar with it, familiar with the players, familiar with the facility, the division. Right? It's kind of like a quote unquote plug. I don't like this quote. It's a plug and play situation.
Yeah.
Or you just kind of, but you have to do it now. I mean, you're talking I'd like to see him go get Phillip Rivers by the end of the week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, if Rivers is talking about coming back that soon, then yeah, you get him now. You lock him up now.
You don't make that you don't make that statement and release it publicly, right?
Mm. Without, I mean, and the timing is curious too. I mean, you're talking Wentz gets injured, you know, we'll say whatever last Friday, and now all of a sudden, you know, he wants to come back and play. I mean, the timing is interesting.
Well, somebody definitely reached out to Phillip. Well, I don't know how that works, right? But either way, that gets released, like what Phillip Rivers says, and people start talking about it, generating, you know, interest. And now we're, you know, everybody's talking about it, right? It's a press release, so we start talking about it. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm Phillip Rivers, I'm sitting down right now thinking like, you know, yeah, I can do it. I've missed the majority of camp.
Sure.
When they're fresh, you know, the offense, it's kind of just roll right in with it. I don't know. Nick Foles, maybe, man. It's just kind of like, right. Nick Foles had the success there in Philly, right? Went to Jacksonville, I believe, after that.
Yep.
And now he's in Chicago, and we haven't seen anything. Right. Gardner Minshew was the guy in Jacksonville, and then now he's the third string quarterback in Chicago.
Yeah. Right.
So. Right.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out over there. I mean, like I said, I think we both agree that there's a lot of talent on that team. We both agree that the Colts are a very good player in the AFC East. In the AFC. But now, some other news I've heard coming out of training camp, Mike, is the Cowboys, I guess, are, you know, putting together a strong training camp. I promised when we started doing this that we wouldn't just talk about our own teams. You know, I love just talking about my Patriots, but and I hate the Cowboys, but I think we
Look,
got
I'll say this about Dallas. Okay, I don't hate the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh boy.
I dislike with a fervent passion, and you can probably agree with this, how much coverage they get.
Yeah.
And they're not consistently a great team. They're not always in the playoffs. They're relevant because if they were in the NFC South or the NFC if they're in the NFC North, right? They'd be out of the playoffs week 10.
But I think we can also agree that they're an obnoxious fan base that will not admit that they're an obnoxious fan base.
No, yeah, why would you? I mean, the Steelers have, and they're meeting tomorrow night, but I mean, I think the Steelers and Cowboys have just two of the largest fan base, if not the largest fan bases in the NFL. And right, everybody, I mean, the Cowboys get talked about. It's
insufferable.
They just have such a large following, and it's just kind of right. It's like Tebow, right? You mentioned Tebow. Everybody knows he can do like 30 minutes on Tebow, and it's just like we're not talking. I mean,
we're not even going to bother with him. But I mean, so the reports there though, Mike, that Dak Prescott is having a good camp. I guess he does look strong, and I'm hearing a lot about this Micah Parsons that they got in the draft, and I know your feelings on what you hear in training camp. You take it with a grain of salt, but it sounded like this kid's the truth, Mike, and he's going to be the starting middle linebacker for them. He's already wearing the radio in his helmet, and basically, it sounds like he's taking control of that defense. I was listening to LeVar Arrington. LeVar Arrington said he's one of the best middle linebackers he's seen come out of the draft in a long time. He believes that he was the best player in the draft. So you got that. Like I said, you got Micah Parsons tearing it up, and you've got what's his face, Dak Prescott having a really strong training camp, which now leads to, is this finally the year that Dallas puts it all together? I mean, you talk about a solid receiving core that he's got with Amari Cooper, CeCe Lamb. They just picked up Wilson and Brown. I can't say that I know much about their tight ends, but you got Zeke back there. What do you think?
So I think that the success of the Dallas Cowboys largely depends on the health of that offensive line, which often gets overshadowed because of Zeke and Dak, Amari Cooper, right? They're kind of like big three on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I'll say that training camp, I'm not going to debate with LeVar Arrington. He knows way more than I do. I'm not about to wade into that pool. I think training camp storylines are just those. They are to be taken with a grain of salt. I don't care if the quarterback for whoever, hasn't thrown an interception in 100 passes in training camp. Good for him. Great job. We'll see.
I mean, you gotta agree though that on paper, Dallas is putting a very strong roster out there.
They are. I just think that it's not really the health of the receiving core. It's not really the health of it's that offensive line. If they can, because that year when that offensive line was rolling and they were blocking well for Zeke, and Zeke had that's when he had his career year and everything. That is what will get that team moving. Right. I mean, Dak is, they just gave him that big contract and everything. So he's the guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, if that defense can be serviceable, it doesn't have to be a dominant defense, but if they can run the ball effectively with Zeke and push the ball down the field, right, with Cooper and those guys in the wide receiving core, and Dak just takes care of the football, which he can do, which we have seen him do.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dak Prescott can do certainly more than manage a game and take care of a football.
I wouldn't say he's a game manager by any means. No. I'm saying though, if they get that run, because the run game travels, defense and running the ball, you can take that anywhere. And passing, the long ball, pushing the ball down the field, we don't know, man. But
I'm going to throw out my bomb right now and say that I think Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson.
I disagree.
That is
Really?
my bold.
Better than
that is
Russell
my bold
Wilson?
That is my bold position this year. Dak Prescott will have a better season than Russell Wilson.
He will have a better. You're not saying that he's better than Russell Wilson.
I do believe he is better than Russell Wilson, and this season he will pass. And I believe that a lot of people will agree with me by the end of this year that Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Russell Wilson. If I had both of those players in front of me, barring Dak coming off the injury, I would take Dak Prescott over Russell Wilson.
I mean, Joe, we're gonna get shut down. You can't. I don't even know if YouTube's gonna.
You got to go against the flow sometime, right, Mikey?
I don't know if this is.
What's gonna separate us, Mike? You got to have some hot takes every now and then, right?
I don't know that. I mean, there's hot takes and then there's takes.
Sometimes you
out
just
of left
got
field.
Hey.
Better than Russell. I mean, Russell Wilson. I don't. Here's the thing, right? You take Dak off Dallas. I mean, they might be able to get it done. You take Russell Wilson off Seattle.
No. I mean, look what happened. Look what happened when he went down. They were terrible. Dalton couldn't do anything there, and Dalton's not a horrible game manager. They were terrible.
I don't know. I disagree. Now Dak may have a better year than Russell Wilson. Possibly.
Before he got hurt, Dak was ready to take a jump into elite status.
Elite?
I believe he is ready to go to elite status.
We'll see, man. I don't agree. I do not agree. And I mean, we'll see. It just, he got he's got an elite contract. I'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was getting paid more than Drew Brees, right?
Yep. I'm telling you, he's worth it.
So before the injury last season, who are you taking, Drew Brees or Dak Prescott?
Dak Prescott. No question about it. Wait a second. That's a loaded question. I mean, there's got to be. Are we saying for 1 year? Are we talking for
1 year for last season before Drew Brees? In Drew Brees' last year, are you taking for 1 year because the contract? That's what I'm saying. He got paid.
Dak Prescott. Taking Dak Prescott over Drew Brees.
All right. Well,
I like him.
It's gonna get awfully. I don't know. We might have to take like a month off or something because I think we're gonna get hammered here. Better than Russell Wilson. I don't know.
I think that needs to go in the headlines, buddy. That might get us some clicks.
That might get us. Like, I don't know, man. We are gonna get. I'm gonna have to disable comments on this episode or something. This is. It's gonna be. Yeah, that's something. Okay. Well, you're allowed.
This is coming from a guy that does not like the Cowboys, mind you. So, I mean, there's that caveat too.
Yeah. I don't know what to say, Joey. I don't know if there's. Look, Dak Prescott's a great quarterback, man. He's probably in that top 10. I'll say that. I'll give
he's
you
not, or he is.
He is.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll put him in the top 10. But that's my olive branch for you. That's my olive branch for you.
You're reaching there by putting him in the top 10.
And well, yeah, man. I mean, I need to see it. We need to see it. He's in the NFC East. The Cowboys should win that division.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to.
So we'll see, man.
No question about it.
We'll see.
I mean, do you think that right now, I know we've already done our predictions. I mean, is there any reason to believe that the Cowboys are not the best team in that division? I know the NFC East is like the wild, wild west, and there's no rhyme or reason to how anything ever plays out. But on paper, is it out of the realm to believe that the Cowboys should win that division?
It's not out of the realm of possibility. We talked about this in one of our earlier episodes, how the NFC East is probably the hardest division, one of the harder divisions to pick.
Yeah.
Right. NFC East, NFC West. It's like,
But like we talked about the NFC East because it's been the wrong way for a couple of years, and one team's gonna have to just blow the doors off, and I think this year the Cowboys are just gonna run away with it.
I mean, I like Washington. They did it last year with I don't know who at quarterback. I think it was a guy named Heineke.
Yeah,
Quote me on that. But I mean, and that's what I'm saying about Washington is that you go and get a serviceable quarterback. Now Fitzpatrick is serviceable. He is. He's been doing it for a long time. He's been decent. But yeah, I can see Dallas taking that division. I totally can. And I think that it largely depends on the health of that offensive line. That's what I think. I think Dak has a shoulder problem right now in camp. He'll get over that, and they'll roll into the season just fine. And we'll see what happens. They are in the NFC East. Philly is a mess right now. The Giants should be good for all intents and purposes. Washington's the playoff team last year. They should be good. Dallas. Yeah. Right on paper looks great. Let's put it together. Can that offensive line? That's my thing. Can that offensive line stay healthy? If all reports out of training camp about Micah Parsons are true, as well as LeVar Arrington, which he probably is. LeVar knows the game. He knows what he's talking about. He has contacts in the league. We don't. Mm-hmm. We're just a couple of guys talking sports, right?
Two shitmates talking sports.
Exactly, and. I mean, it should work then. They're in Dallas. They should be able to put it together. If not a division title, a potential wild card spot. I don't know. They have to win that division though. A wild card spot. I would definitely put somebody. It's like Rams.
Two teams Seahawks, are not making the playoffs from the NFC East. It's not going to happen.
I don't believe so. Correct.
Two teams will not make the playoffs from the NFC East.
Yeah. So there you have it. They just gotta. Just got to put it together, man. And it's a lot easier said than done. I don't like Mike McCarthy as a head coach, really, personally.
Oh, just one of the worst. I mean, that's their Achilles heel right there. Is their coaching staff is awful. I mean, if the not their coaching staff, but their coach is awful.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's your weakness, that's a pretty large weakness. You got to manage the clock, manage the timeouts, right? Manage the roster, right? Personnel, right? You. That's a glaring hole if the coach doesn't know what he's doing. I saw, right, we've seen these coaches these rookie coaches and stuff like that, even coaches that get brought back that don't know what they're doing. Or it's not even that they don't know what they're doing, but they're doing the wrong thing and refuse to adjust. And I feel like McCarthy, he was doing that in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah. Just doing the same crap over and over and over. And it's just like the only reason you're relevant is because the quarterback you have. That's how good Rodgers is. So that's where that's my elite status. I don't think Dak is there. But Mike McCarthy, if maybe that time off did him well, maybe it kind of gave him some time to reflect and just kind of check the ego or whatever.
I've also heard, though, that he's going to relinquish a little bit of the offense and just give Kellen Moore, who I think is a good offensive coordinator. I think Kellen Moore is going to be taking a little bit of he's going to be taking a lot of the play calling from them, which, takes it out of McCarthy's hands a little bit, and I guess we'll see what Kellen Moore can do. I think there's a good relationship there with the offense and Kellen Moore, so we'll see. I think I kind of like what we got going on here. I think like what we got going on here. We've been touching base with different teams throughout training camp. Like we've been. I'd like to touch base every now and then with the episodes moving forward. We'll try to check in with a couple teams each week. There's a lot of storylines out there that I'd like to hit on. Not today, but the Browns fans are going crazy. I guess that things are looking good in Cleveland. We talked about how deep we think the NFC North is. I'd like to touch on basically the entire NFC North. And Joe Burrow, I guess, is back at practice. Just some things that we could talk about in upcoming episodes, Mike. I don't know what you think about that.
I love it, man. I love just it's a great time of the NFL year because it's all right. We have all these storylines coming out of training camp. Everybody's undefeated. It all looks good. This isn't like week 8 of the year and right.
People haven't packed it up yet.
That you were still wearing the jersey and everything. So I would love to kind of maybe we go like division by division or I don't know, whatever you.
Yeah, we'll see what the storylines are going in. If there's anything pressing, then we'll hit on that. But if not, I think we'll pick a couple divisions and moving forward.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I think what we discussed though is where the tomorrow night they're going to be doing the NFL Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It'll be the class of 2020, which wasn't obviously because of COVID, and then this year's class of 2021. A
twofer.
I've always been kind of the mindset that I think too many players get in that are very undeserving. I got a list here of the last roughly 10 years worth of players that have gone in. Mike, we discussed it beforehand. I'm not going to go with players that played in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I want to talk players that, we watched and we know, and more so skilled players. I'm not going to really go over linemen or anything like that.
I don't really know the right guard that got in from, the Colts that, but exactly. I should. I mean,
yeah, we're doing a sports cast, but I don't know.
I think research done for that.
I think it's more interesting to just go with the skill players that we know. And I started with 2010 is where I went back to. I just want kind of a back and forth. Basically, if we agree, we'll just keep moving on. And if there's something that we disagree on, we'll just have a little quick back and forth. But we'll just kind of roll right through
I'm still hung up on the Dak Prescott is going to be better than Russell Wilson thing. So let's move on so I can recover.
All right. So like I said, we're going to go with skill players because there's some other people that, we're not going to hit on. Jerry Rice, simple yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You can't not have Jerry Rice. Emmitt Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll throw a caveat on that. I believe, let me see if this, it doesn't specify it. I believe some of these are first ballot. And
we can dive into that.
Yeah. So all right. So we'll keep moving forward. So did I say Emmitt Smith?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So yeah, both of those guys I think are very much worthy of being first ballot Hall of Famers. You're talking about the greatest receiver that ever played, and you're talking about the running back with the most yards in NFL history. So yeah, no question about it. Keep moving. Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
Yes. Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Yep. Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
Absolutely. Was never a fan, but was just awesome.
He just too dominant. Yeah.
Curtis Martin.
No.
A lot of useless yards. Yards for the New York Jets. He does not belong in the Hall of Fame.
I feel like it's close with him.
He's an absolute no for me. He played on garbage teams, garbage yards. They just handed him the ball off just while they were getting blown out. A lot of garbage yards for Curtis Martin. I thought, I liked him when he was a Patriot, but again, I thought he was overrated. I'm a no for Curtis Martin.
You can't. I have a lot of sympathy towards the running back position because of what they, you got to catch, you got to block, you got to run. All the hits, and I feel like Curtis Martin did those things. I don't know if, just because you play on a bad team doesn't mean that you shouldn't get in. But I don't think he elevated the teams he was on to a certain degree.
He didn't do anything to help the teams. And like I said, I want to kind of move through this. At no point was Curtis Martin a good. Barry Sanders was an unbelievable running back on a bad team. Everybody knew Barry Sanders was the best running back in the league, even though he was on a bad team. Nobody felt that way about Curtis Martin.
Well, you don't. Yeah, I'll give you that. Like, nobody was getting up, right? There's a saying that when the other team's offense is on the field, the other team's offense, right? That team that's like that other team's offense is sitting down on the bench, right?
Yeah.
And so there were a few players, and you hear like some previous players talk about.
Yeah, everybody wanted to watch Barry Sanders run.
Yeah, so there are a few players you get up off the bench to go watch.
Curtis Martin was never prime time watch. All right, so I'm a no on Martin. Are you a no on Martin?
I am a no on Martin, begrudgingly.
Okay. All right, Chris Carter.
Yeah.
We're 2013. Chris Carter. I'll give him a yes. I'm a borderline no, but I'll give him the yes. I'll throw a curveball in here. Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. We're both a yes on Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
We said we'll do skill players, but here's a pretty known guy, Warren Sapp.
No.
You don't think Sapp deserves to be in?
Let me.
He's got to.
Well, hold on. Well, he was effective, dominant with the Bucks.
Yep. He won him a Super Bowl. He was very. I don't know that Bucks run there. What is it? Probably late '90s, early part of the decade. That was a solid run they had there. Those were the Sean King and
Brad Johnson.
Yeah, the Warwick Dunn. Warren Sapp was a big part of those teams. I was never a fan, but to me, Warren Sapp belongs.
I'll say this: I haven't, from what I've heard about Warren Sapp as a person, right? I think that he has room to improve as a human being.
Yeah.
However, that I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get into that stuff. I just.
So I don't want to let that
strictly on the field.
Because he went to the Raiders and disappeared.
Yeah, no, you're right. But I'm talking about, so the dominant part of his career, I thought was dominant, plus it got wins. And they were a good team.
I'll give you Warren Sapp. I'll agree. Let's put Warren Sapp in. All right. I can't really hold that argument now that I think about it.
All right, we'll keep rolling along here. Jerome Bettis. Bettis is somebody to me that is in the Hall of Fame because of his name, because he was popular. Bettis to me is a borderline at best Hall of Famer. He was good. I don't think he showed up in big games. I think he got a lot of yards against, in games that really weren't that important. I think he did not show up in big games. To me, Bettis at best is borderline. I'm going no with Jerome Bettis. He does not belong in the Hall of Fame. He's in strictly because of his name.
I think that Bettis's thing was the nickname the Bus, right? He's a power back, big back. He wasn't he wasn't going to catch the ball out of the backfield a lot. That wasn't his thing. But he's going to get you that 3rd and 1, 3rd and 3 conversion, most of the time. Mm-hmm. He's going to get you that touchdown. You get the ball on the 1, you give it to Jerome Bettis. He gets it in for you. For me, a running back isn't just that, right? He did it for so long, and he was effective.
He did have a long career. You're talking, 13, 14 year career. So he did have longevity. Again, I think it's the name. I think he was, very popular with the fans in Pittsburgh because he was there for so long. That's a long shelf life for a running back. So I will give him that. But to me, again, borderline at best, I'm leaning no to Jerome Bettis.
I would say no on the Hall of Fame. Are we just going to agree on? I would say no in the Hall of Fame if he didn't do it for so long, right? If he did this for like 6 or 7 years and went out, he was just always effective. I would say yes on Jerome Bettis, but I'm leaning yes. I'm on the fence, leaning yes.
Yeah. No, I got you. I think it's a borderline conversation either way you look at it. Another coach for you, Tony Dungy. Yes or no?
I give it to Dungy. Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
No way.
Absolutely too short of a career coaching. 96 to 08. You're talking 12-year run? No. One Super Bowl championship. Very good teams with Peyton Manning that, however you want to say they lost to the Patriots.
Didn't he build the team in Tampa Bay before Gruden took over?
Yep.
So is that's the knock against him, is that he had the same team, but
he didn't win it. He certainly didn't win it. Gruden won it.
Did Gruden even make any roster moves? Did he just kind of come in there and just, all right, here we go?
I don't know, but I know that Gruden came in, they won the Super Bowl. Tony Dungy did not. I know Tony Dungy won one with the Colts, and he should have, again, I'm going to be biased here, and he lost twice in the playoffs to the Patriots when they were the better team. The Colts were the clearly better team, and they got shut down by the Patriots. The first time And then the second time they tried to have all the rules changed about, stopping the receivers at the line of scrimmage. They came back into Foxborough, and with that high-powered offense, I believe the week before they beat Kansas City, Kansas City or Denver, one of the two. They just destroyed them.
I think it was that Denver game, yeah.
Yeah, the punter didn't see the field in the playoffs until they came to New England, and then the first punt, they snap it over the punter's head, and just all kinds of craziness. And to me, Tony Dungy absolutely does not. Again, it's somebody just because he's on NBC and does a lot for the league. That's the only reason why he's in. Again, it's a popularity contest, and that's the only reason. To me, Tony Dungy, absolutely no.
I'm opposite. I think Tony Dungy's there. I think he had success in Tampa Bay. He had success there in Indy. Even went so far as to win a Super Bowl. I think you can put a coach in. I don't think that the Super Bowl is a requirement. I mean, there does have to be success. You can't just be a coach and go. Oh, now it'd be 9-8 or 8-9 every year, right? He was successful wherever he went, and I'd put him in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course, Brett Favre is a yes. Again, though, another player that I think it's an overrated career, but yes, Brett Favre belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I wouldn't trust Brett Favre. I would trust Brett Favre to throw touchdowns, but I would also just be like, well,
he's not afraid to throw an interception.
Exactly. It's just, well,
it's the dumbest thing out of bounds.
Can you just?
Yeah, right. I'm sorry. I prefer the guy that does not want to throw an interception.
So yeah, but I mean, Brett Favre, he dominated the NFC North. And for a long time now, the end of his career, even with Minnesota, I mean, he had him in the playoffs and everything like that. And,
no question about it. Brett Favre belongs in. Like I said, I mean, it's just a matter of, I mean, I think he's viewed by many a little more than what he was. Couple more here, Mike. Let's throw out Terrell Davis.
No,
absolutely not. Too short of a career.
I will.
Very good years, but no, absolutely not.
Terrell Davis. Now, if you were to take those few years that he was playing and be like, he did this every year for, 8-9 years, I'd be like, yes.
100%. Oh, yeah, absolutely. No, he was tracking, but no, too short of a career. I think we're no on that. LT, LaDainian Tomlinson, I'm a yes.
Yeah, that's yes.
I love
that. To me, when we talk about Jerome Bettis and then we talk about LaDainian Tomlinson, I think that Tomlinson was your complete back.
100. Yeah. Oh God, I don't think he could do everything.
Jerome Bettis was
he could
so
pound
effective.
The ball. He could go outside.
Yeah.
He could catch like nobody's business.
Remember that story where I think it was like Marty Schottenheimer was the coach and they ran that play 50 power like 30 times in one game and they always got yards on it. I forget who it was against. They're like, 50 power, just give it to LT.
Just give it to LT.
Yeah, and
Yeah, no, he was a great running back. He was fun to watch. All right, here's one that has some controversy attached to it, in my opinion. Kurt Warner.
So I can't just say yes or no on this one so fast. I understand.
No.
Your microphone works. Okay.
I wanted to make sure it was loud and clear.
Yeah, Lima Charlie, man. He won the Super Bowl with the Rams, got back to another one, lost to the Patriots.
He bagged groceries. He was bagging groceries.
And then he went to the Giants and disappeared.
Was a backup quarterback.
Was a backup. He went from Super Bowl winning quarterback to backup quarterback. Mm-hmm. This guy's like Joe Flacco, right?
And then he was a good quarterback with Arizona. He wasn't a great quarterback.
He brought Arizona to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
They lost on an amazing throw and catch by Roethlisberger and Santonio Holmes.
Yeah. So he almost won the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'll give him that. But they lost. And he was a good quarterback. He was a solid starting quarterback. He had a few great years. I'll give him that. I won maybe 2 MVPs. So, but no, absolutely not. Absolutely not a Hall of Famer. Get him out of there. He does not belong in the Hall of Fame. Again, just a popularity contest. He's on the NFL Network. Total popularity contest. Does not belong in the Hall of Fame. No.
I don't know. It's just, I guess I want to lean yes because you're so adamantly saying no. But you're right. Like he wasn't consistent. He did it, and then he faded away, and then he did it again, and then that was it. It was just right. It just wasn't. For me, Kurt Warner is kind of like that Nick Foles type of guy where you have to have the right situation. You're not going to come into a team like he did with the Giants and start and lift this team up and right and increase their chances of winning. And that's what Kurt Warner did not do. Look at the Rams teams he was on. I mean, the whole team, the wide receivers and the running back are all Hall of Famers, right? Or at least in the discussion.
Yep.
And you go to New York, the Giants, they're like, yeah, we got Kurt Warner, man. He just won the Super Bowl, came off another one. And then what happened, Kurt? What happened in New York? It's like the Bermuda Triangle or something. Eli Manning won. Well, never mind. But he did 2 years. I mean, I think Eli Manning's years were outlier seasons, but still, like, you were not starting anyway. And then you go to Arizona and you had one good run, 2 good runs, right?
Well,
I guess I would lean with that argument. I guess I would lean no, but it's close with him for me.
Let's fast forward, move this one on a little bit. Let's fast forward to the ones that are coming in that are going to be inducted tomorrow night.
All right.
Real quick, we'll run through the class from the last year that didn't get in. Isaac Bruce.
He didn't get in?
He did get in. He was a borderline, but I mean, he was good. I mean, I would lean. Yeah, Bruce. I'll give it to Bruce. He was very, very good. Edgerrin James.
No.
Good running back. Was on some really good teams. Didn't really move the needle for me, though.
I wouldn't put Edgerrin James in the same class as LaDainian Tomlinson.
No. I mean, so you're talking, he was with the Colts and the Cardinals, and I don't even remember him playing for the Seahawks. That had to be like the end of his career thing. He was a very, very, very good to great running back with the Colts.
Yeah, because of Peyton Manning in that offense. That wasn't, you can't just,
but I mean, coming out of Miami, everybody knew James was going to be when it was James and Ricky Williams that came out of that draft. I mean, everybody knew
Ricky Williams was better than Edgerrin James, personally.
I mean, that's a argument.
I wouldn't put Ricky Williams
I would lean Edgerrin James. But again, though, I mean, I think any running back would have done fine in that offense. I think James was very good in that offense. But to me, again, no, he was just part of a very good team. There's more deserving players that belong in. Someone that's not a skill player that, I think deserves to get in, but I think, again, it's more of a popularity thing, is Troy Polamalu. Yes, he belongs in. I think we both agree. Polamalu belongs in, but again, he was just another player that drove me crazy. I thought he was too popular.
Oh, whatever, man. He was, dude, no. I mean, It was like Troy P. and Ed Reed were like the 2 best safeties in the league for like forever. Come on.
Rodney Harrison was better than both of them, and he hasn't gotten consideration yet, and that drives me crazy. Maybe a little bit of bias there.
Maybe.
All right. Here's one that's near and dear to your heart, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
First ballot?
I would have liked to see Calvin play another year or 2, but I think that he was so dominant, and he wasn't like Terrell Davis where he did it for like 2-3 years. Right. No, he gets in first ballot at the wide receiver position. Yeah. There's no other wide receiver that really did.
Is there any bias there?
Yes, there's 100% bias.
All right. At least you can admit it, Mikey. At least you can admit it.
Yeah.
I can admit it with Rodney Harrison that I'm pissed that he's not in. He was a Patriot. At least you're admitting that. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, Calvin Johnson 100% belongs in the Hall of Fame. Yes. Peyton Manning, no question about it.
Yeah.
I'll
say this. Peyton Manning. Oh, never mind. No, never mind. Yep. Yes, Peyton Manning.
100%. No question about it. First ballot, whatever. My favorite player of all time, Charles Woodson. There's the Michigan bias there, but yes, 100% Charles Woodson to me belongs in the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I mean, I guess it could be debated. I don't know if it was his first attempt, but if it was his first attempt, I still believe he should have got it. Now, just real quick, I want to just finish this on up, Mike. One more thing I want to hit here. Just a few players that retired this past year. Just a couple of yes or no's. I'm only going to go over the ones that actually have a shot. We're not even going to discuss it. Just simple yes or no's. Philip Rivers, yes or no? I'm a yes.
Why?
Just yes or no?
Yeah.
You froze on me, Mike. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Look like we're having technical difficulties. I don't know if we're recording or not.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It's lagging.
Hello?
Yeah, can you see me now?
You there? I don't know if
Yeah,
I
I got you,
talking
but
or not right now.
you're not moving.
I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
being recorded or if Mike's being recorded. I'm not really sure.
On my end,
thought?
it's recording just fine.
Little glitch in the matrix there.
You got me now?
I got you now, Mike.
Okay.
All right, so I was a yes on Philip Rivers.
Yeah.
All right, Jason Witten, no.
Who?
Jason Witten, tight end, and he's definitely doesn't deserve to be in it for his broadcasting skills.
I would say yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Who else we got here that's reasonably discussed? Drew Brees, I think, no question.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah.
Yes. First ballot, yes or no?
For kickers,
Best kicker
yeah.
to me in the last 20 plus years. So to me, yes. I mean, he's the reason why the Patriots have that dynasty.
Yeah.
So to me, yes. Adam. So yeah, I think he belongs in the first ballot. And I'm going to throw one more at you that drives me crazy that people still say no. Julian Edelman.
No.
100% yes.
No.
Big game player. Always showed up. Super Bowl MVP. Yes, 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 yes.
Nah. He's just
Patriots Hall of Famer and NFL Hall of Famer.
If Jimmy Smith hasn't gotten in yet, there's guys ahead of him that haven't gotten in. And
Edelman showed up when the games mattered the most. Edelman played the game just like a madman. Edelman belongs in the Hall of Fame.
I see what you're saying, but I can't with that. It just he's a wide receiver, like a slot wide receiver. He did it for a long time. Was Brady's
Let me throw you this one. Let me throw you this. If you had to pick one of these two to put in, Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, who would you go with?
That's can I say no to both?
No, you got to pick one.
I'd go Edelman.
There you go. And I think
you just want me to say Julian Edelman's name.
I think they're both Hall of Famers.
Oh, no, they're not. Wes Welker? Nah.
Borderline, but I'd give it to him.
Bro, you're telling me that you'd put in Wes Welker and not Edgerrin James?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Julian Edelman's got what? 4 rings? 3 rings?
He doesn't. Brady and Belichick got those rings. Not Edelman. They could have done it without Edelman.
Edelman won an MVP. Set the record for most receptions in a Super Bowl. He's got a lot of playoff receiving records.
Yeah, Joe, he wasn't like. You look at the receivers that are in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't T.O.
No. But you know what? He's got more rings than T.O.
Yeah. This is where football becomes a team game, and it's just nah. T.O. for some of his career had like nobody throwing him the ball, and T.O. is still effective in Cincinnati.
What receiver played the game tougher than Julian Edelman? That guy took more beatings than anybody and got up every time. He was knocked basically. I can't even talk. He was knocked unconscious against Seattle in the Super Bowl on like a 4th and 13 play that got the Patriots drive going. Basically knocked unconscious. No idea who he was. Comes back in, winds up scoring a touchdown on that drive.
Dude, Hines Ward played the game a lot tougher than Julian Edelman, I would argue.
No way.
Yeah, he did. Hines Ward was known for playing the game tough, being one of those tough receivers, blocking, catching everything that was thrown his way.
Again,
absolutely.
I promised that I wouldn't do the bias thing. I have
you're doing exactly what you
I have
promised
no
not
problem
to do.
ragging on my Patriots. I have no problem ragging on them, but Edelman, yes. Well,
yeah, I'm gonna disable comments on this video because this is gonna be
no. We gotta hear it, buddy. We gotta hear it.
No, they're gonna.
They can all shit on me. It's okay.
We're gonna get creamed. That's all right.
All right, buddy. Well, I think we got some good material, and I think we know moving forward we want to keep getting rolling right into the football season. Probably be back next week. Go ahead.
Who has the better season, Dallas or Pittsburgh?
Dallas.
Playing tomorrow night, Hall of Fame game, Dallas. Because of the division they're in?
I think they're just a better team.
All right.
I think they're the better team. I think they're in a far weaker division. I think, 6 games, you're talking 2 against Washington, 2 against Philly, 2 against New York Giants, where Pittsburgh's going to have 2 against Cleveland, 2 against Baltimore, and 2 against Cincinnati, who's got a good squad. Definitely, that's 6 easier games right there, right off the jump for Dallas. Dallas should have the better year.
I mean, Pittsburgh last year was they were 10-0 at one point, weren't they? They were just.
It was a fake 10-0.
10-0 is 10-0. If your team went 10-0, you'd be like, all right,
the Patriots were what 9-0 the year before. It was fake. It was a fake 9-0. Even Brady came into one of his press conferences. They were something like 8-0, and he goes, "I've never been more miserable at 8-0 in my life." And yeah, it was a fake. Everybody knew the team wasn't as good as they said. This is when they had that boogeyman. They had that boogeyman defense, and everybody knew that they were playing garbage at the time. It was a fake 10-0. Everybody knew that Pittsburgh was gonna get knocked out.
They're saying Big Ben's coming back into.
Dallas is the better team.
Ben's coming back into camp, and he's all in.
Obviously, you're not going to get any answers tomorrow night. I mean, I'm not basing anything off of him. But yes, Dallas is the better team. I think we come back next week. There should be several games coming up in the next week and a half or so. So we'll definitely have some football to talk about. The NBA trade deadline, the NBA free agency started. I want to hit on that next time. A lot of movement there. Baseball, a lot of movement. Baseball, a lot of movement at the top of the divisions. We'll roll into that. Hockey's kind of in a lull right now, but again, I think we're getting into the point where it's going to be a lot of football-based stuff with some of the other stuff sprinkled in.
I think the Olympics are starting to kind of wind down. I think the men's Olympic basketball team is they just beat Spain and they're going to the next round, everything like that. Maybe we can give that an honorable mention or something like that. But
sure.
That's pretty much it, man. There's a lot of movement in the NBA right now. Baseball, the playoff race is coming, and we might have a new quarterback in Indy, right?
Yeah. I think by the next time we talk, we should probably have something. I do want to throw out there, man, I do appreciate the people that have been watching. I think it's kind of cool that we do have people that are watching our videos.
I am definitely surprised that we have had as many views as we have had.
Honestly, if people are watching and is there any enjoyment or anything of just leave us comments. We'd love to hear what you have to, even if you don't like what we're talking about and you think that we have no idea what we're talking about, let us know.
I think this one's definitely, we're going to see some comments on,
Hey, again, you got to go against the grain sometimes.
I'm going to turn off email notifications. I think
yeah. Well, like I said, we started this because, again, we were in the Navy together. We love talking sports, and it's just something we enjoy doing. We just enjoy talking sports. So if you don't like what we talk about, sorry, we'll try to do better. But honestly, it's something that we enjoy doing. That's why we did it. So leave us some comments, share it, get us out there. We're trying to get better every show.
We got to get these technical difficulties fixed up too. We're going to have to, I'll look into that and everything. But yeah, absolutely. Leave a comment if you have to, if you want to, no big deal. But yeah, just appreciate people watching. Hopefully they at least get some entertainment out of it, if nothing else.
Yeah, even if you're laughing at us, whatever. You're making fun of Mikey's hairline, or my giant pecs, whatever. Whatever you're making fun of, just go ahead, you know?
Anyway. All right, guys, that's episode 3. And we'll be back, next week? Maybe before that?
Next
back
week,
when we can. All right.
Sounds good.
All right.